By the 90s, Glazer's empire included property, broadcasting, banking, and food packaging, but his profile was still low. Then, in 1995, he did his biggest deal yet, buying the American football club, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for $192 million. The Bucs were on a losing streak, but Glazer and his sons rebranded them with new team logo and colors and brought in a top new coach. It was Bucs fans who dubbed Glazer the Leprechaun, and they watched as he transformed the team's fortunes, landing the coveted Super Bowl trophy in 2003 and quadrupling the value of his investment.
2, 1,
But the people of Tampa were left with a bill it would take a generation to pay back. The old Buccaneers Stadium was demolished and a new one was built in its place. Glazer had initially promised to pay half the cost, but then he changed his mind. He said Tampa's taxpayers would have to foot the entire bill, or else he'd move the team to another city.
The deal was, if you build this stadium for me, I will stay. And we basically just gave it to him, hook, line, and sinker. We gave him not only the stadium, but we gave him all the concessions and all the rights to go with it. It was like a great big Christmas present. I should have such a present. If you wanted to open a business, would you expect the city or the county to give you the money to build your office building, pay for all the facilities, and give you total control over it? Well, that's what we did. And he's got everything. He got the stadium, but he also has the rights to charge us every time we use it for any event. If we want to hold a rodeo in the stadium, we're going to have to pay for it. And this is a stadium that we paid for to begin with. We paid our money to build his stadium, and now we have to pay him to use it.
Glazer's Tampa investment boosted his fortune to an estimated $1 billion and whetted his appetite for other deals. And in 2003, he turned his attention to the richest prize in world football.
Beckham into Sheringham, and Solskjaer has won it!
By the end of the year, the Glazers had built up a 14% stake in Manchester United.
The brand of Manchester United. I think that's caught their eye. All they can see is the cash signs, the dollar signs counted up all the time. And that's all they will think about. At the end of the year, when they do the accounts, that will be the first question they'll ask. How much have we made? They would not understand how the supporters feel when they get knocked out of a competition, how when they lose a match, they don't know how the supporters feel. These are the people that the club really belongs to. But the Glazers won't understand that at all because they're not football people. They're business people.
After 2 years slowly increasing his stake, Glazer made his big move in May, borrowing more than £500 million to buy full control. At once, United went from being Britain's richest club to one that's now $265 million in debt. Angry fans say its main goal will now be paying that money back to the banks. Glazer and his son say it'll be business as usual.
If nothing's going to change, then how on earth are they going to make an extra £50 million a year, which they need to do by the year end of by 3 years' time? Something has to change. There will be changes, and it will mean the fans paying through the nose for tickets, for everything here at Old Trafford. They're going to put catering prices up. The cost of your pie and your pint here at the ground will increase. The commercial revenues will be increased. They'll have new sponsors. They'll try and get more money out of the sponsors. They'll do everything they can to try to get more revenue. For example, they could give naming rights to Old Trafford to say Coca-Cola, so it would become Coca-Cola Old Trafford.
It is the first time this reclusive and controversial billionaire has been seen in public since he seized control of Manchester United.
Glazer's refused all requests for interviews, including one from us. But his reluctance to answer questions about his plans for United has caused more anger.
I really appreciate that you're talking to me, but unfortunately I'm here in an NFL meeting and I just can't. I'm here for no other reason than that.
But Glazer can't ignore the protests in Manchester, even at home in Palm Beach, Florida. In May, one of his neighbors sparked a security scare when he flew his helicopter over Glazer's beachfront property. He later got a call from the police.
And he asked me if I flew over Malcolm Glazer's house. And I said, well, Malcolm Glazer's house is between my son's house and my house, and obviously I did fly over Malcolm Glazer's house. And he said, well, we got a report from Malcolm Glazer that your helicopter was hovering over his house, and it looked like there was a sniper, a person with a gun or a rifle in the helicopter looking for somebody. Was that you? I said, I might have been hovering over there, but I was with a county commissioner. We didn't have a gun, and I don't remember hovering over his house, but I went by it.
What was he thinking?
He must have thought that somebody, a sniper from, maybe because of this Manchester soccer team issue, was looking to shoot him, but it wasn't us.
And what did you think of that?
I thought he was a little paranoid.
Unwilling to answer questions about transfer budgets, ticket prices, or debt levels, Glazer's left the talking to his son Joel. He now sits on the United board with brothers Brian and Avi, and in an interview with the club's own TV channel, he's professed his lifelong love of soccer.
My family being very passionate about two sports, American football and I'll say British football. And it's because in the town I grew up, Rochester, New York, we had the North American Soccer League, which had in Rochester a team that was probably the worst team in the whole league. But week in and week out, I was there to support my club.
Now Francisco Escos for Costa in the area. Crossing pass in front.
And this is the team Joel Glazer says he supported week in, week out. The Rochester Lancers, seen here against the all-star New York Cosmos. Perhaps his memory's playing tricks, because their overall record in the North American Soccer League was good. In 10 years, they were champions once and reached the playoffs 7 times. And in all that time, the man most closely involved with them doesn't recall the Glazers attending matches week in, week out.
I had Georgie Best when he was at the LA Aztecs, and when Elton John was a part owner. And of course, Pele when he was with the Cosmos.
So you met Pele?
Oh yeah, Pele's a good friend.
Charles Sciano is Rochester's very own Mr. Soccer. He was the Lancers' chairman, general manager, and even coach. Would it be fair to say that here in Rochester, you know who's into soccer?
Oh, I know who's in and who's out of soccer in this town.
Were the Glazers into soccer?
I never knew the Glazers even knew anything about soccer.
Joel Glazer has told British fans that week in, week out, he was there supporting his club. What do you make of that?
No, it's absolute bull. I'll keep it short. Not true. Not true.
Were you ever at any time aware of a Glazer family passion for football, English football?
Absolutely not. Never. I thought the only passion they had was for money.
But to some, it's that very passion for money that could work in United's favour. Paying off debts won't just depend on tougher cost control and higher revenue, it'll also depend on success on the pitch. And, as he proved with the 2003 Super Bowl success, he can deliver it.
Go to the games and enjoy them. He'll give you good soccer. I mean, this is an unusual owner. I mean, he doesn't have any knowledge of any of the sports he's involved in. He didn't have any great love for them, and but he knows how to go out and hire the right people, and they'll give you a good product and cheer for your team because they'll be winners. You can bet at it.
But back in Tampa, the days of winning now seem a distant memory. The Buccaneers finished bottom of their division last season, and many of the players who've helped win the Super Bowl have left. Some think Glazer may even follow.
Malcolm Glazer's bled the public dry here. He has raised ticket prices and raised the cost of other stuff at the stadium, like the concessions and stuff like that. And I'm sure that's part of his plan for Manchester United too. The unfair is, and I don't think it's necessarily a fear, but I think it's reality that Malcolm Glazer isn't going to end up paying his debt, but the fans of Manchester United, who have been watching them for years, are going to end up paying his debt.
I would be concerned, yes, definitely. I definitely would be concerned. The ability to be able to get and bring in star players. If I was a Manchester United fan, I would definitely be worried about that. My message to the fans of Manchester United would be very weary. Be very, very weary, because you don't want the feeling that I have had for the last 2 seasons to watch my team go from Super Bowl champions to bottom feeders of the NFC South division.
If you listen to his critics, Glazer has no interest in sport or tradition, but he knows a good investment when he sees one, and in his eyes, Manchester United is the best. He's broken the bank to win control. Now he'll be looking to the club and its worldwide army of fans to make his investment pay.
He's not over there because he's a big soccer fan. He's over there because there's a real opportunity to make money. It's just like a big pile of money. It's like a leprechaun looking for that pot of gold, and son of a gun, there it is in Manchester, and he's going to get it.
Mark Jordan on the man who bought United. And that's all we have time for tonight. We're back next Friday at 8 o'clock. Until then, from all of us here, goodbye, and thank you for joining us.
We'll switch over to ITV2 now for the rebel billionaire, where those challenges just don't get any easier. Here on ITV1, a story of greed and passion in Foyle's War, with the ITV News at 10:30, and later he's rubbed shoulders with royalty and the craze, a profile of hardman-turned-actor John Bindon in Real Crime at 11.